Crystal from Raspberry School, and today I'm going to show you how to do quilt as you go hexagons. These are a great little project. They're very portable. You can take them anywhere. You can use up all your scraps. You can use your scraps of fabric. You can use scraps of batting. You can recycle some textiles, whatever you want, because you only need a really small piece for each part. So the things that we're going to need to put this together are, you will need two different types of fabrics. Your facing fabrics, that's the fabric that's going to be shown at the front, and then your backing fabric, which will come up over the top. So for mine, I've used pink and navies and blues for the backing. And you'll also need batting. You don't need a lot of batting, but you will still need to have quite a fair bit, but you can use the smaller offcuts, you know, those bits from the side of the quilt that always seem to be left over and you don't really know what to do with. I've always hung on to them, so now is the perfect chance to use them for this project. You're also going to need some quilting threads. I like to use a Pearl 8 or something similar like that, some sewing thread to put the hexagons together. Then we'll also need your regular hand sewing materials, needles, pins, scissors, stuff like that. The final thing that you're going to need is a ruler. I'm going to use the Hex and More ruler. This is by Jaybird Quilts, as it has several different sizes of hexagons. I've used the 4.5 and the 6.5 because I think that's a really nice size. It's really manageable with the size of my hands, but you can of course use any size you want. It just has to be 1 inch bigger all around, so you'll need or a 2-inch size difference, so 4.5, 6.5. You can also use the little small hexagon templates that you get with your papers sometimes, but as long as you've got two different sizes with a 2-inch difference, 1 inch all around. The final thing is you can use your machine if you like. I have just chosen to use this as a portable hand sewing project, but you can use your machine as well. Alright, so to start sewing these together and doing the quilting, what you need to do is fold the edge of your hexagon over right up so that the raw edge is touching the raw edge. Give a little finger press and do that again so that it covers neatly and encases all those raw edges. Hexagons quilted, the next thing that we do is we need to stitch them together. So starting with two pieces, I'm going to line them up right sides together, and you can do 2 stitches here. You can either do a ladder stitch or a whip stitch to get those done. So to do a ladder stitch, along we go, just taking a tiny little bite out of that side, and then we take a tiny bite out of the next side. So it's kind of like a running stitch, but we use each side as we go along. To do a whip stitch, I like to start with a thread on top, and we take tiny little bites and go through each piece as we go along. The finish is whatever's preferable. We do the hexie. It's a pretty easy block. If you'd like to join me online, hashtag on Instagram is hexyalong, Hexy along. Again, I'd encourage you to recycle textiles. Look beyond what's available in front of you. Maybe you could use up some old blocks, use your scraps. If your piece isn't big enough, sew some together, make your own